My vision is to help as many people as I can sell with confidence and conviction. I kind of fell into sales by accident. It really made me reevaluate my life. I didn't think I was going to make it.
Hello and welcome to the Diaries of Success podcast. We believe that success is a journey. We believe that success is not a formula. And this is why we want to understand and learn from each other and tap into other people's success stories. Which is why in this podcast, we're going to have one of the guests that actually have inspired me in my success journey. Well, he is known to be one of the elite sales specialists. So without any further ado, I'm happy and privileged to welcome Mr. Nick Staab.
Hello, Hadra.
Hello, Nick. How are you doing?
I'm amazing, thank you. I'm so honoured to be here.
Thank you very much for being here with us in the show.
Yes.
So, I'm sure our audience is asking, who is Nick Staab? So, if you don't mind sharing with us, who is Nick Staab?
Yeah, good question, right? I'd be wondering the same. So, who is Nick Staab and how has he earned the right to be here? Well, for me, I'm what I call an elite sales specialist because I've discovered that true selling is actually serving, helping other people. What I set out to do, my mission is to help as many people as I can become successful through selling.
Right.
Because I believe that everything we do in life is a sale, right? You know, if we convince our partners to do something, we're selling. Getting our kids to eat their vegetables, that's selling. We're actually selling 24 hours a day. We sell to ourselves all of the time. So I want people to sell with confidence and conviction.
So when you say sell with confidence and conviction, so sell what? Because what I know is that a lot of people, and me, for instance, when I first started in any industry, I was like, I don't really want to be a salesperson. We see people understanding sales maybe differently. Yeah. But as you said, whatever we're doing is sales. So how is that possible?
Yeah, great observation. Like we said, everything we do in life is a sale. So if we want to get better at doing anything, one of the first things you need to learn is how to sell. Because, if I ask you a question here, Hadra, when it comes to sales, right? Mm-hmm. If you had a cure for world hunger, would you keep it to yourself? Or would you do everything in your power to get it out there and help others?
That's very deep.
Would you though? You'd do everything, right?
I'd probably do everything. Yes. However, how would people tap into sales? Because I know that the world's most paid positions is sales. Even when we have had the crisis a few years ago, it feels like a minute now. When we had that a few years ago, people were like, we're losing our jobs. But the people who didn't actually lose their jobs are the salespeople. So why is that?
Well, the reason they didn't lose their jobs is because they're probably the last people to let go in any industry, because especially during the current economic crisis, especially 2 years ago in the pandemic, why would people let go of their sales teams? Obviously, they're the bloodline of any business. They make the money. They keep the businesses going.
Right.
Whereas other departments could get cut. So, yeah, I do agree that a career in sales is one of the most lucrative and secure positions you can have. But going back to my previous answer of the question, about world hunger, would you do it all? Would you put it out there? The reason I asked that question was because I want the audience to understand that if you've got a gift or a product or a service that can solve someone's problem, then you are doing a disservice by not getting it out there. So actually, when it comes to sales, you need to do everything in your power to sell to people. So you must master this skill. It's my belief that it's the number one skill people needs to master.
So how did Nick Staab get into sales?
Yeah, good question. I kind of fell into sales by accident. Right. And it probably started over 12 years ago now when I was in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So do you mind if I quickly take you back?
Absolutely. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
We need to see what your journey of success is. And you're a successful person, and I aspire to be someone like you, and I love what you're doing. And I have seen your success grow because we're friends now. I know who you are, but then, seeing you start from very humble beginnings How did that start? What was
Yeah.
the drive? What's
This
the
is
ambition?
interesting. So I don't share this story a lot. So I want to really take you back now to the roots of where I started. And like I said, it was an accident. I had finished university, didn't really want to go out and get a job. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I did a degree in IT computing. I got a first, so very high level degree, but I couldn't really get a job in what I wanted to do because every job that I applied for said, we want someone with experience. So to get my head straight and just get away for a bit, I decided to take a gap year to Australia.
Okay.
So I got a visa, flew over to Australia, Sydney, and very quickly my savings started to depreciate. And I needed to get myself a job fast. And what I discovered was in Australia as a backpacker, you only probably get two choices. Number one, you get yourself a job as a waitress or waiter, a bartender. Number two, it's probably a job doing sales.
Right. Ooh.
Unless you've got a trade out there, right? And I didn't have a trade. I was just a university student. So I applied for a job. And it was really funny. On the job application, they worded it to be a job like, do you like fitness? Do you like personal training?
Ooh.
Do you like the gym? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's me 100%. Went in for my interview and crushed the interview. And I turned up for my first day at work in an office to find out that I'm going to be selling electricity door to door. So they missold me, right?
Yeah.
This is where I kind of actually start my journey on wanting to sell the right way. But I didn't know it then. I was just a young backpacker, 22 years old.
So you felt like you have been kind of tricked into getting that role position because they know people are not going to apply if they told them it's going to be a door-to-door position, isn't it?
Exactly that. And it was very churn and burn out there because there's lots of backpackers, lots of tourists. People weren't working for a long time there. They were kind of coming and going. So they just wanted to get people in. And to do that, they would lie about the sales job.
Right.
So little did I know back then, but that is a part of the reason why I do what I do now. But anyway, going back to that time, I had no other choice. I needed the money, right? So I was taught by a guy called James out there. Really good mentor. I always look back at, I didn't know he was a mentor back then. We didn't know what a mentor was. But he was someone that kind of took me under his wing and showed me how to sell, like the ways that he'd learned to sell. And a lot of it was quite textbook. You know, when we think of sales and when we get that bad feeling of sales in our belly, it's typically we think about pushing people, you know, getting them to buy our products, ramming it down their throat until they say yes. And that was the way that I was taught, right? And, you know, I did it. I made some good money. I climbed and I grew to be a team leader in the business.
Yep.
And what I really started to inject for what was different to the rest of the people working in that business was my facts for helping people. Because I've always, from a young kid, I used to get bullied in school and I've always had just a real nerve to be the nice guy, want to help everyone. I'm a real people pleaser.
Right.
Which can have negative traits, but back then I wanted to go a little bit deeper than just trying to push people to say yes to me. I actually wanted to take time to find out what problems were they facing.
Yeah.
And I was getting people to change their bills. They're an energy provider. So I would look and ask them to grab their bill and tell me, like, how's your service so far? Okay, and how's that making you feel? What's that like? Give me more clarity. And what I discovered very quickly was that I was almost creating a system that I now have, the 7-step serving system, and I sell this system to thousands of people across the UK. But I started to create my own hybrid sales system, and it was based off the fact that you need to talk to people, right? You need to ask them questions, find out how they are feeling. Rather than just trying to sell, push, you need to pull and extract information.
Right.
That's the difference. That was the game changer for me.
So I understand that, and I'm, very pleased that you actually shared some of the golden nuggets there, and also a bit of your own experience. So you said you were bullied when you were a kid. How did that impact the fact that you're? Because look, sometimes people, when they are treated a certain way, they don't end up being successful. They don't end up changing their life 180 degrees. What made you, from then on, be who you are today, and why?
Good question. So going back to being bullied in school, yeah, it was horrible. You know, I was made fun of. I was made to feel like I was the ugliest kid in the class. And yeah.
How?
I know.
You're one of the handsome men. Well, we all agree.
Thank you. Lots changed. But yeah, it's funny because going back as well, from that bullying, it really knocked my self-confidence. And I was the last person in a social situation. I'd kind of stand in the corner, not want people to talk to me. I was very socially awkward and shy. But if you look at me now, what I'm doing, speaking on stages, webinars, I've done a complete 180, like you say. And it's down to finding confidence. Yeah. Because what I realise is in sales and business alone, I think that confidence is the most attractive trait in a person. True. Not looks, and not anything, but confidence. And I believe that anyone can have concrete confidence, right? Anyone, yourself, any of the viewers listening. And I've got a confidence formula. It was taught to me by one of my mentors, Jessen. Okay. I want to share that because it's really powerful.
I was going to say, can we share that?
I'm not going to tease it, but I want to share it as well, right? So, confidence is three things, right? Knowledge, experience, and certainty. So, if you want to sell something, and remember, you could be selling an idea here. Do you have knowledge in what you are talking about? Do you have experience in what you are selling? Are you certain it can get a result for someone? If you've got all three, you've got confidence. Right. This system can take the most shy, the most timid person to understand that actually they are confident. Like I help so many business owners who say, Nick, I can't sell, I don't want to sell, but whatever they perceive and believe, they achieve. Right. So if you go around saying, oh, I don't like sales, you're not going to be very much like sales. Yeah. I'm bad at sales. You're going to be bad at sales. But if you start to flip your perspective and say, well, I know that selling is serving. I know I need to help people. So I need to be able to sell. Then you're going to be able to be a much better salesperson. And when you can sell, then you can make money. You can have more time, more freedom. So this is why, Haji, I'm strong on saying that sales is the number one skill that you have to master.
Right. Well, I'm glad you tapped into that because my next question is, now you started the movement of helping other people to learn how to sell, to actually sell without really needing to sell, and be themselves and be natural into doing sales. And you're now mentoring hundreds, if not thousands of people to become good at this skill, to help and aspire other people and inspire other people to become salespeople. So tell us a little bit about your mentoring program.
Great. So I founded the Elite Sales Academy at the start of this year. And the sole mission... 2022. Start of last year. And the sole mission of that was to help as many people as I could, like I said, sell with confidence and conviction. Yeah. Now, I know that a lot of people don't like sales and they get that feeling in their belly. They get that negative connotation. And I understand, I get it, because I used to feel the same. But I do challenge anyone who's got those beliefs in this current climate right now, because if you can't sell, you're never going to be financially certain in life. Now, a lot of people, they talk about financial freedom, like having money, having time, having freedom. But I believe that financial certainty is actually more important than financial freedom.
How is that different?
Because financial certainty means that I am financially certain that I will be okay in any climate. Like, you could empty my bank account tomorrow, you could kick me out of my house and send me to the streets, and I will be able to work my way back up because I know how to sell. I can sell any product to anyone following my system. Houses, cars, products, information, doesn't matter.
Yeah. And this is how people who actually won the lottery go broke within 3-4 years from the time they actually won the lottery, because they don't have the knowledge on how to invest that money or actually just get it back up, isn't it?
100%. They don't invest their money. They're not financially literate.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've learned, like you as well, from having great mentors, is the power of getting your money working for you, having multiple streams of income. And that's why I like to teach my elite sales specialists to have at least more than one. And the reason that my program has been so successful is because I mentor people and teach them 2 streams of income right away. Number 1, selling OPP, other people's products.
Okay.
Number 2, selling their own products. So I unlock in people's minds a product or a service, because so many people, they come to me and they say, Nick, I haven't got a business. I can't sell anything. But everyone is good enough at something that they can then help someone else do something. So someone out there will be willing to pay for your knowledge, your experience, your certainty on fixing their problem. So I've helped hundreds of people start their own businesses, from African cooking companies to like people information, selling hotels, selling cars, you name it.
Right. So we need to talk.
Yeah.
We need.
We have.
I know it has been a challenging journey, and success, or your success, has not been a straightforward.
Never is.
Straight or line. Or
I've never met
road.
a single entrepreneur who's had a straight road to success. It's always like a roller coaster of ups, downs. But the successful entrepreneurs are the ones who, when it goes down, know that they don't quit. Because in life, you either win or you learn, right?
Yeah.
And some people, they let success go to their heads, and they have a bit of success. They get a bit comfortable and they get complacent, and then they say, oh, I've written a book. Oh, I've done that. And then they sit back and get comfortable. Other people, when they go on the down trajectory, say, oh, I can't do this. It's too hard. I'm going to go back to my job working for someone else.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, they quit. But an entrepreneur must ride that roller coaster.
Yeah.
So like you say, Hadra, it's not a straight line. It's definitely up and down. And I've had my fair share of ups and downs.
So would you share with us and with the audience, what are some of the challenges you actually had in your journey?
So going backwards, I guess, the first challenge I had was from Australia, growing my business to being a door knocker, to being a team leader, having almost the carpet pulled from under my feet. One day, my company director just decided to sell the business, and I was about to get a working holiday visa so I could stay out there. And I lost that opportunity because I lost my sponsorship. So I quickly had to come back to the UK, and I'd had a taste of sales. But I made a commitment to myself that I'm never going to get myself a job with just a salary, just a ceiling. I can't imagine it. I've just got used to earning commission.
Yeah.
Getting rewarded for my hard work, earning thousands of pounds.
And sometimes your commission is more than your, salary.
I was 22 years old in Australia, making about $5,000 a month.
Wow.
And at the time I had no money management, going out, partying, drinking, nice restaurants. Very quickly that went, but that's why I learned financial literacy in my adult years.
Yeah.
But the reality is that I could be a backpacker with no sales experience, no business experience, to be making £5,000 a month simply by not just selling, but serving people, asking people, like I said, once again, the problems, the pains they'd faced. And as a result, I was outselling all of my competitors.
Oh, wow.
And I was getting noticed. I was getting promoted. I was getting overrides from my team. And it just kept growing and growing. But the challenge I had was coming back to the UK and losing that, having to rebuild again. So this time I actually followed my dream and did something I was passionate in, which was the fitness, the gym. And I got a job for Virgin Active.
Oh.
So I was the...
Richard Branson,
great guy. And Richard Branson always taught me, this is one of my strongest beliefs, that if someone ever offers you an opportunity, you say yes, and you figure out how to do it afterwards if you don't know.
Yeah.
And I just started to say yes to every opportunity that I was given in life. And that's why I can put that down to my success. Because if I didn't say yes to many of the opportunities I had, I'd never be where I am today. So let's go back onto this, though, because I keep getting down another path. But going back to my challenges. So having to start again was number one. And once again, I become the top seller in the business.
No doubt.
Grew a team. Got sent to Vegas. We had a great time in Vegas for a year. A year. We don't for a week. But I was the top seller of the year.
Oh, wow.
So one of the top sellers in the Virgin brand. So we got sent to Las Vegas. We stayed at the Bellagio. Limos taking us around. Oh. You know, and at this time of my life that I thought that I had made it. Like, you know, I thought that I was winning. But I was actually felt like I was losing at the same time.
How is that?
Because what was happening was I was working for someone else and I was working all of the hours under the sun to be number one. Like I would leave my house at 5 o'clock in the morning, get on 2 buses, 2 trains, going all over London, 2-hour commute, then working all day, working overtime, that commute back, getting home around about 10 o'clock at night and repeating 7 days a week.
But most people would be, oh, he's worked for Virgin Active. You know, this is a dream to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what made you realize you're actually not done for that?
To put it into a few words for the viewers, I won't name names, but I was told by one of my managers one day when my nana passed away that I couldn't go to her funeral because it was the busy day of the month, the last day of the month, and I had to attend work and hit those targets.
Shocking.
So that was the moment that I said, well, I wanted to say, screw you, I'm leaving.
And I replaced that screw
couldn't
word.
Yeah. So yes, I couldn't say that, unfortunately. I couldn't because I was stuck, right? I was in the rat race.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized was I was just a number, like a cog in a wheel. So I had to turn up and do what I had to do. I had to work hard, but if I didn't want to do that, they'd just take me out and replace me. And I was dependent on them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I really stepped away and set up my own business and I got control of my life, started to help more people, have more time, have more money, have more successes, that I was able to set myself free. So sometimes I look at what my boss did to me there and say, and I thank him for it. And I went to my nan's funeral, by the way. I did go.
You did.
I had to, right? But it was the fact that
yes.
they told me that I couldn't that made me leave. And if he didn't say that, I might still be there now, climbing that greasy corporate ladder, only to realise that I'm on the wrong roof. Because now I'm doing something that I'm passionate about. Now I'm helping others. I'm getting fulfillment from doing so.
Right.
I've got some massive plans for the business this year, like going overseas, international.
Yeah, I'm going to jump into that in a minute.
I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, right?
I've known you for some time, and I've seen how you have gone from, you know, being Nick Staab back in 2018, that shy gentleman or someone who's not putting yourself out there a lot, to actually now being, you know what, I'm Nick Staab. And I've seen you on hundreds and hundreds of stages, speaking to audiences, inspiring lives, people reaching out to you, asking for help and support from you. And I've also seen you writing a book. And that book went bestseller just like that. And I've read the book. I love it. But maybe some of our viewers or listeners don't know about the book. So what inspired you to write it, and what was the drive?
Great question.
What is the title? So
the book is Selling is Serving, something I'm very passionate about, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And the book's purpose is to get people to understand that sales is helping people. Learning how to sell is one of the best skills that you can have. And I break it down into very simple steps. In the book, it's my 3-step system, the 3 Ps, right?
Right.
And that allows people to easily digest it. Anyone from any background can take that book, learn it, master it, and then go and implement it into their life, their business, their relationships, and it will give them more confidence. Like you said, you've seen me grow over the last few years.
Yes.
And it's all down to just believing in what I do, getting around the right people, saying yes to those opportunities, pushing myself out my comfort zone. And yeah, you know, just being in this world, I call it this It's a different world to what most people live in.
Right. So how did hitting bestseller made you feel?
Oh, incredible. Like, the reason I wrote the book really was when I was in hospital. I had pneumonia. I was on ventilators. I was struggling to breathe. I was in a really bad way 2 years ago. And I didn't think I was going to make it.
Was that during COVID?
Yes. And I remember I was taken down for a CAT scan at the time, and my lead doctor, he was head to toe in PPE. So he had the glove, the mask, the hat. All I could see was this intense eyebrows and this intense stare. And he took me down for a CAT scan. He got my results. Mm-hmm. He said, "Nicholas, your lungs are the worst on this ward. And I'm sorry.
A young person.
We're going to do everything that we can." Yeah. And I was 29 years old at the time. Fit, healthy, non-smoker. Trying to do everything right. Being told that my lungs were the worst on the ward. And I was on a ward with very vulnerable people of all different ages. I saw people die on that ward, people screaming for help. And that really scared me when I was told that my lungs were the worst. Like, it really made me reevaluate my life. Because as I was laying in that hospital bed, I realised that I'd had lots of successes. I'd made loads of money. I'd been on nice holidays. Yeah. I was ticking off my vision boards, and yeah, it was great. But something I hadn't done was give back and help others. I've been quite selfish. So that's when I made a promise to myself that if I pull through, I'm going to do everything in my power to help other people. And I remember shutting my eyes at one point where I had no energy. I was just struggling, and I really thought that was it. But eventually I could breathe again, and I recovered. And you know what? That recovery was just the ignition to my flame of success over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
That's when I said, right, enough's enough, Nick. You're going to do everything in your power to help other people. So I made a plan. I sat with my mentors and I said, what can I do to give back? How can I get myself into the marketplace? How can I be known as the #1 sales trainer in the UK? And the answer was to establish my brand, write a book, say yes to opportunities, get time on stages. So I invested in all the training under the sun. I got mentors in social media, mentors in speaking, mentors, other sales mentors. I just invested thousands of pounds, hundreds of hours, all of my energy into becoming the best version of myself, being a sponge. And as a result of that, it's just opened the door to me in so many ways.
Yeah.
And the book was just the #1 starter for me to get my foot in the door. Yeah, my book allowed me to create what I call my system now. And that system I've used on my 3-day training events. I use it on my yearly academy masterminds to teach my students.
Right.
I use it in all of my business situations. And it's a recyclable rinse and repeat system that anyone can master.
Yeah.
Obviously, I touch on it in the book over 3 steps, but people who get mentored by me at my 3-day training, that's where we uncover the entire 7 steps.
Right. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned training. So you said the 3 days training.
The Elite Sales Bootcamp.
What do we get over 3 days?
So over the 3 days, I love it. It's all structured. So we go through the 7-step system. Now, the first step is psychology. You must understand your psychology and your buyer psychology. Now, unsuccessful business owners underestimate the power of psychology, right? As a result of that, they don't believe they can sell. They believe it's hard, it's difficult, and they never get to really get where they want to go. And that has a massive impact on their life, their relationships, their stresses. So I challenge anyone who does believe that psychology is not important. Once you've mastered your own mindset, you then need to learn the psychology of the buyer, right? You have to understand what makes them buy. Why do you think people buy something, Hadja?
Well, but they want it.
They want it. That's a good answer. Now, it's my belief that the main reason is problems. People buy stuff because they've got a problem that needs fixing. They are seeking solutions.
That's true.
So it's our job as elite sales specialists to make people solve those problems, to help them solve their problems, and to help them solve the problems that they will face if they keep deleting them.
Right. So just to build on that, people love to buy, but don't like to be sold to.
Yep.
So for example, if I go into a shop and someone comes to me straight away, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? I'm like, can you please give me a minute? Right? Just let me browse through. Let me see what you have. And then I'll actually ask for help if I need to. But we have seen a lot of people actually do that in sale. Yeah. Whether buy from me, I'm the best, buy from me, I'm the best. Where what they're doing is actually pushing people away instead of welcoming them. So what are they doing wrong?
Yeah, what they're doing wrong is they're being a typical salesperson. And that's the way that I teach. It's so easy for anyone to learn. Like, I sell the opposite way to how most people have learned how to sell. I don't agree with all the typical stereotypes.
Yeah.
And the typical fake rapport building, like, oh, how's the weather where you are? Oh, how was your weekend? Like, when people ask those questions in a selling situation, they do not care about you.
Yeah.
You know that, right? As a customer, you just feel like, oh, I'm being sold to now. It sets off that internal trigger.
Yeah.
So in an example, if I was going in a shop and I was that shop attendant and someone was trying to buy something, I wouldn't say like, oh, how can I help you today? I'd say, look, I appreciate you here. You're having a quick look and you probably get bothered all the time in other shops. If you do get stuck, I'm going to be over here. But, have a quick look around and I'm going to be here for any questions you got. Like, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. And that's going to make people be like, oh, that guy just almost made a joke about it. But he knows the score. Okay, I'm actually going to go for him for help.
Now take my credit card.
Well, we're just getting started, right? But that's it. Instead of trying to shove things down people's throat, getting them just to buy, sounding like a typical salesperson, we need to be different. And we must become an authority in a selling situation. That's key.
Right.
But this is a fine line. You can't just go into a selling situation as the big I am. Doesn't work. You have to go in at equal ground to your customer, to your buyer, to your prospect, right?
Yes.
And you must build that elevation of authority through asking the right questions, through setting the scene. Because a lot of business owners don't like sales or selling situations because they don't have a script. They don't have a system to follow. And the customers talk over them, they demand the prices, and they just push them around. And I don't know when to ask for the money. They can't handle objections. These are all the things that make people hate selling, as well as being sold to.
Well, I have been put in situations, well, as you know, we're in property as well, and sometimes landlords, when you're talking to them, also don't like to be sold to, right? So... And in this situation, sometimes a no means it's just only means that I'm not really, doesn't really mean, that I'm not interested. It only means that I am not really too much in contact with what you're giving me, what you're offering to me.
Yeah.
And I've seen people just push away just because of that. Because someone says, no, I'm not really sure about that. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, he's not interested. All it means really sometimes is, as you said, handling an objection and be like, maybe he's not knowledgeable in what I'm offering. Let me just, give him more. So is it the lack of knowledge?
Yeah, like we said, when it comes down to confidence, knowledge is one of the things, right? But typically, data will tell you that people say no 4 times before they say yes in a selling situation.
Ooh.
So if you take that first no as a real no, or the second or the third no, then you're never going to get those sales. You must be resilient and thick-skinned to know that no is just an objection. It's just a hurdle, a barrier, which can be overcome. And a lot of people, they just say no. It's ingrained in their DNA. Like, someone tells us something, we're not sure, we say no. Doesn't mean say that we're really feeling that way. That's why we can't just take that no on face value. We've got to keep pushing. And one of the key things I help my clients understand is that they need to get their prospects to say yes to them.
Right.
So we ask questions, we call them closed questions that get a yes. So if we were to work together, you're going to be an action taker.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you going to be committed?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, great. So these are the questions that we ask. Questions that get yeses. Because when we want someone to say yes at the end of the conversation, we want them to get used to saying the word yes, 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 not no.
So that's what it means when you said earlier, it's psychology.
Well, it's one of the parts of psychology, one of the many, many parts. There's thousands of parts when it comes to human psychology. But yeah, I've spent a lot of the time studying human brains, getting around mentors who are really good at mastering psychology. That is why step one is psychology in my system and many other business owners' systems. Because if you think you can or you think you can't, as Henry Ford says, you're right. Probably right.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, these are a lot of golden nuggets here, and I'm getting a lot of value here. Thank you. Right? So I'm sure many of us want to get to that level of being just like you as an elite speaker, right? And now you are being humble and kind, and you said, you know what, let me just share this with a wider audience. And you're not only going to be serving locally in the UK, now you're thinking to actually move to USA.
Yeah, not just thinking, we've got the wheels in motion. So we've got some dates in the diary. Nice. I can't disclose them just yet because I've got a reveal coming. But we're going to be going to the USA this year. It's going to be super exciting.
Tell me a bit more.
I'll tell you a bit more. Now, it's going to be mainly done virtually, okay? Which means the great thing about my model, the way I teach at the moment, is I can do a lot of in-person 3-day training and mentoring, but I can also do it all virtually as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be able to reach all of America through advertising on Facebook, Instagram, finding my target audience, getting them to attend a virtual online summit, like a Zoom seminar, have a few thousand people in there. I'll then figure out who is right for me and offer them an opportunity to come and work with me for 3 days. Those that are the right people will come to a virtual 3 days with me. And then there'll be an opportunity for those to get mentored by me if they are the right fit. But I'll still teach them my system over those 3 days. Now, the great thing about that is I can do it all from my home studio. I mean, I will be going over to America just because I love America. I mean, I would probably tell people why I'm going to America, actually. Number one, I love America. Like, you know how I drive a Mustang. Like, I'm just obsessed with USA muscle cars, just the USA in general. It's my favorite country on the planet. I don't know why. I just love it. The culture, the people, and the buzz. I just love America. And also, I know that in business, you need to play your strongest suits. Like, I'm in the information industry. I've had a great success in the UK of people that invest into my training, my mentoring. But in the US, people invest 4 times more into their education than people in the UK will.
Why do you think that is?
I just think it's their culture. You know, and what's missing in the US, a lot of the trainers out there, they deliver these 3-day seminars, boot camps, but they never have a real hand-holding, mentoring support afterwards.
Continuity to the program.
There's a lot of... these, how you say, get rich quick, you know, come on these 3 days, learn this, and then you're set free. But people don't have the support they need.
Yeah.
They don't have, they have the hand holding, the kick up the backside when they need it.
And how many people would actually take action after the 3 days? Probably not a lot.
That's the one thing we can't control. We can do so much to try and inspire people. We can give them everything, but it's down to them to do the work.
Yeah. So when they join that program and you have that hand holding, it's sure that they're actually going to get the support and make it, rather than just stick to 3 days and then that's it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not everyone, but most people in the UK, when they're left to their own devices, I get it. You know, life can get in the way. We have all the best intentions. Like, think about New Year's resolutions on the 1st of January. Everyone says, I'm going to go down a couple of dress sizes. I'm going to do this. And they do it for a week or so. All of a sudden, they go back to their old habits and they give up on and they quit. It's just the way it goes. But when you have a mentor, when you've got someone who holds your hand throughout the process, checks in with you, you're also being held accountable. You're being given the next steps, the real high-level training. And you're going to get those results. You're going to create those habits, that discipline. And so many people lack that discipline.
I know you to be one of the most disciplined people I've met. If not the most disciplined person I've met, actually. And I've said this times and times, you know. And I personally would love to become as disciplined as you are. I'm not, unfortunately, but I'm getting there.
Wow.
So how is it in your personality, or is it something that you said, okay, you know what, let me just do this right now?
You know what's funny is I'm probably one of the most laziest people that you could meet. I've just taught myself how to be disciplined. Like, no, me growing up, I was that teenager who probably sleep until 11 o'clock, want to just play my PlayStation, not do much work, watch telly. But as I progressed in business and started to like really serve people, help others, I got a real buzz for it.
Yeah.
But what I realized was for me to do all the things I needed to do, for me to get into the gym, for me to meditate, for me to work on my mindset, for me to build my relationships, serve as many people as I could, I needed to work as many hours in the day as I could.
Right.
And for me to do that, I had to start getting disciplined. So I now wake up at 4:30 every morning.
4:30.
4:30.
Wow.
Right. And the reason I do that.
It's not even the 5 a.m. club.
Not even the 5 a.m. club. It's the 4:30 club, baby. 30 minutes earlier. That's where the elite go.
There you go.
No. I want a disclaimer there. Just waking up early isn't going to make you super successful. It depends on your routine, your habits. But for me, I like to get up that time because it allows me to do my meditation, to write my gratitude list, to walk my dog, have my breakfast, go to the gym for an hour, get ready, have my team meetings. And before I've done all those things, 8 tasks I've just counted on my hand, where most people are just about getting up. I shine before the sun shines, right? And there's a saying that I love as well. It's all about the sun here. You got to earn your sunset. So you got to do everything you can in the morning, like just get yourself moving, get yourself doing stuff. Because I was that guy that would, I'll go to the gym in the evening, I'll do this. And then I'd have a hard day at work. I'd be lazy. I'd be tired and I'd not do that task.
Yeah.
And the only way for me to do that task was to start getting up earlier and earlier and earlier. Now I just don't negotiate with myself. I have cold showers every day. And there's not one day where I'm like, oh, wow, I can't wait to get in that cold shower. Maybe if I've had a really hot workout in the middle of summer, but definitely not in the winter, okay, in England, right? But I don't negotiate with my mind. That's what Tony Robbins does, right? He has a cold ice bath every morning and he never negotiates with his mind. And I look at Tony Robbins as being one of the most disciplined, successful people in the world. So if that's what he does, I'm going to do the same.
Yeah. If he's successful, there's something he's doing right.
Well, that's one of the biggest things I can talk about my success. I know it's your whole podcast is about. Is for me, the biggest hack for anyone is copy successful people. Like in school, they tell us never to copy others.
Yep.
That is the worst advice when it comes to business. Copy and hang around successful people as much as you can, and it will rub off on you.
Yeah.
Like I got different mentors in all areas, and I just started to look at what do they do every day, what habits do they have, you know, what does their day look like, what are they doing, how are they doing it, why are they doing it, and I started just to copy all those things, and all of a sudden it become in my DNA.
And does that make you like, because you're trying to pick a little bit from here and a little bit from there, so you take what you like, and then it becomes your identity.
Oh yes, that's how I've created my system and everything that I do is not by just having a one solution fit. So not just investing in one course and being like, this is the answer. I go and invest in multiple courses and take all the bits that I like personally that suit me and my style, my personality. Then I put them into my system. I test them. I even maybe modify them based on my results.
Yeah.
I create my hybrid system. So that's what I've done in all areas of business. And then it really honors me that you say I'm a disciplined person because, I don't feel like I am naturally. But it's just come down from literally just getting up and not negotiating with myself.
Right.
I am lazy. I am naturally lazy. But I don't allow myself to be lazy.
Yeah.
I've got to show up. I've got to show up for me. I've got to show up for my partner. I've got to show up for my clients. Right?
Yeah.
Because if I don't show up, it's not just me I'm letting down. It's all those people who are looking up to me. So
what is the reason why that you're doing it for? As you just said your clients, your partner, yourself, the people who are looking, but the actual reason why that makes you wake up every single morning and say, you know what, I'm going to make a difference today.
Yeah.
and I'm going to do something to inspire others.
Yeah. It's just my vision. My vision is to help as many people as I can sell with confidence and conviction. So that wakes me up in the morning. Like, my values wake me up in the morning. Like, for me, I genuinely believe what moves me, what motivates me, my why, is fulfillment. Because money can't buy that. Yeah, the joy, the pride, the gratitude that you get from helping other people is just electric. Like, for me, being able to inspire thousands of people, help people leave their jobs, build their businesses, leave legacies for their kids, have money, go on nice holidays, change their lives, inspire others. Like, that's why I do what I do, because it gives me that feeling. But I know many other successful business owners who are not successful in the way that they feel. They're miserable, they're depressed, and that's because they've been selfish all their life. I would have been the same if I'd stayed in my job. Hey, I was earning good money, I was climbing that ladder, but I was always miserable deep down. And it wasn't until I started to help other people and put other people first that I was able to truly be successful. But I do want to put a quick disclaimer on that. I just said about putting other people first. Now I do that.
Yeah.
But on my journey to be successful, as Tony Robbins taught me, you got to be selfish to be selfless.
Yeah.
Like, I learned that I just have to put all of my energy into me. All of my education, all of my time, all of my money, all of my energy into growing my biggest asset, which was my mind. Like, empty your wallet into your brain and it will pay you forever.
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
Absolutely. Because you can't give what you don't have, right?
100%. And there's so many people out there that are trying to give. They're giving their time, they're giving money, they're trying to donate to charities, and they're not in a position really to do so. Now, I'm not saying to anyone listening, stop donating, stop helping others.
Yeah.
Maybe, though, if you started to help yourself more, you gave yourself more time, money, and energy, you could actually help more people on a bigger scale.
Yeah. And one thing that caught my eye the other day, and I'm actually living by it now because it's interesting. They said knowledge is the only thing that actually multiplies when you give from it.
Ooh, I love that.
So we are sharing that. We're giving people, but actually it's not taking away anything from it. It's actually being multiplied. We're passing it on.
Yeah.
So how do we reach you out when it comes to joining you to your program? We would, how do people reach out?
So the best way for people to reach out to me now probably be to follow me on Instagram.
Yeah. And what's that?
Nick Staab, and that's Staab.
Right.
Coach. So Nick Staab Coach.
Yeah.
The reason I say Instagram is because I'm always posting content every day on there.
Nice.
And people can engage with me there. I do run summits, so people can check out my Instagram bio to see what I'm running, because I do a lot of webinars, free webinars where people can join in. Maybe they can attend one of my shows, or if I'm speaking on someone else's stages in person. There's always my book as well people can download. So we've got Selling is Serving on Amazon.
Yep.
So anyone can download that book.
Well, I'm going to put a link down in the description below, so at least you can easily have access to it and click. It's an amazing book. I've read it and I've got a lot from it, and I've learned quite a lot about serving and selling and serving. So I'm going to put the link down below so it's easier to access. And also the link to your Instagram as well.
Yeah, Instagram, website, I've got my website. There's loads of ways to reach me. So if you put that in the description, my Linktree, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, I want you to share one or two things on how our audience can become successful and get inspired from you. So
so you want me to share one or two things
that, you can inspire others by?
Yeah. So number one, off the cuff here, just going with what my heart's telling me right now. I spoke about this a lot. Is just get yourself a mentor. Like, that's the biggest thing that I've ever done since I left Virgin, stopped working for other people. I realized the power of investing into myself, getting around the right people, because as well as your net worth being your network, I really believe that you got to look at the people that you hang around.
Yeah.
Like Jim Rohn says it as well. Like, you are a product of the 5 people you hang around the most. So you hang around 5 broke people, you're going to be number 6. Right? Hang around 5 negative people, you'll be number 6. Hang around 5 successful people, what are you going to be, Hadra?
Definitely be the 6th person.
Number 6, as
Absolutely.
you know this as well, right? So, yeah, honestly, my biggest thing to anyone is if you want to get better in a certain area of your life, you want to break free from your job, maybe you want to scale your business, go out and seek the person who is doing that. Always look to be the dumbest person in the room, unless you are the teacher. That's what I've always done. Always look for people who are better at me than selling, maybe that business, that social media. Then I've learned from them and look to overtake them. You know, I challenge myself to be the best at my whatever I need to. But I know my weaknesses, and I go out and find mentors to do that. So number 1, I would say, is get a mentor. Number 2, my biggest tip for anyone here is just to say, start getting comfortable with sales. Start to understand that selling is actually serving.
Yes.
Because if you've got a product or a service, or maybe you're selling it for someone else that can solve their problems, then you are doing a disservice by not being able to sell it with confidence and conviction. And for you to be able to sell with confidence and conviction, you need to invest into that sales skill. Like I said, you can download my book, you can follow me, I'm going to inspire you, but you really need to do something today, because that is the biggest skill, and it goes with anything. Like, I know you're in property, Hadra. I've helped many other business owners.
Yep.
Everything that you do right now, your relationships with your loved ones, your confidence, your self-belief is all based on sales.
Yep.
So get used to selling, get comfortable with selling, invest into selling.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I got a lot from this, interview, and thank you for being here with me today. And I'm sure we have enjoyed as much as our listeners have enjoyed.
I've loved it
having you around. And I'm gonna say I'm personally going to take action and do more and be more comfortable with selling, because that was something that was lacking a few years ago. I'm doing it step by step, but I'm going to become better at doing that. And again, I want to thank you for being here. And it was a nice and very, very interesting interview.
Thank you so much, Hadra. It's a pleasure to be here. As I know, me and you are both in a position where we love to give back and help other people. And this is fulfillment, like I said earlier, right? This
Absolutely.
is us giving back, helping as many people as we can. So I think you've got a great thing here with Diaries of Success, and I can't wait to see all the other success stories coming up in the future.
Well, thank you very much, Nick. And for all our viewers and listeners, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. If you want to reach out to Nick, click on the description bar down below. Click on the link. I'm going to direct you guys to his Linktree so you can see everything that he's doing in the background. And subscribe to this channel. We have loads and so many interesting guests, just like Nick Staab, in the next episodes to come. Make sure you check out our content, and we will see you in the next video.